Okay, boys and girls, for math for Wednesday, we didn't have it on Tuesday because of our testing of math on Tuesday. So we're going to be adding mixed numbers. So there's going to be a whole number and there's going to be a fraction. And most of them are pretty easy, but sometimes you're going to end up with having to do some borrowing, which I'll show you how to do, and how to change, well, you already know how to change an improper fraction to a mixed number. So that's all going to be involved in today's work. There aren't too many problems that are more difficult. So let's look at my paper. Okay, so I have 5 4/8 plus 1 3/8. Add your fraction first. 4 plus 3 is 7/8. Remember, we don't change the denominator. And then we add our whole numbers. 5 plus 1, 6. Okay, so fractions first. And then whole numbers. Okay, so we add our fractions. 1/3 plus 1/3. 1 plus 1 is 2, and we leave the denominator alone. And now I add my whole numbers. 1 plus 3 is 4. 2/3 plus 1/3 would be 3/3. Okay, we're going to come back to this. 4 plus 9 is 13. Okay, but what's 3/3? Remember, when the numbers are the same, it equals 1. So 13 plus 1 would be 14. You would add the 1 on. Okay? 3/3, anytime you come up with 7/7, you would make it 1. 9/9, 1. 2/2, you would make it 1 and add that onto your whole number. Okay? So 4 plus 3 is 7/7, so that's really 1. Okay? So 6 plus 9 is 15, but then we add this 1 on, and we get 16, and we don't have a fraction then. Okay? 8 2/5 plus 10 4/5. 2 plus 4 is 6/5. And then we have 8 plus 10 is 18. But this is an improper fraction. So we have to divide the top number, divided by 5. 5 goes into 6 one time. 6 minus 5 is 1. So we take this, that's our numerator, 1/5. And we add that onto our 18. 18 plus 1 would be 19. So it would be 19 1/5. Because we have to change this to a mixed number. Just like we did on Friday. We divide the numerator by the denominator. And then you make your remainder your numerator. And what you're dividing by is still your denominator. Okay? 3/10 plus 4/10 is 7/10. There's no problem with that. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, if you want, we can do another one like this. Okay, 3 3/4 plus 6 3/4. Okay, so 3/4 plus 3/4 is 6/4. Okay, I can't leave it like that. Divide your numerator by your denominator. 4 goes into 6 one time. We subtract 4 and we get 2. 2 becomes our numerator. We put it on top of the fraction. 4 is still our denominator. Okay? So now I have this equals 1 2/4. 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 1 more is 10 2/4. Okay? Now, subtracting. Again, start with your fractions. Subtract your fractions. And then subtract the mixed number. So 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1/4. 3 minus 1 is 2. So 3 3/4 minus 1 2/4 is 2 1/4. Subtract your fraction first. 9 minus 7 is 2/10. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5, oh, this should be an eighth. Sorry about that. 5/8 minus 4/8. 5 minus 4 is 1/8. 6 minus 1 is 5. Okay, now this gets a little tricky. 2 minus 7, I can't do that, so I have to borrow from the 9. The 9's going to become 8. Now, we're working with eighths, so it's going to be 8/8 plus 2/8, because 8/8 equals 1 and I borrowed 1. Okay? This is how you have to write your 1. So we have 10/8 minus 7/8. 10 minus 7 is 3/8. Now I have 8 minus nothing is 8. Okay? When you borrow, you have to make it into a fraction that equals 1. 8/8. Okay? We're going to have to borrow on this one. Okay, 8 1/6 minus 4 2/6. 1 minus 2, I can't do that. This is sixths, so we're adding 6 onto the 1, and it becomes 7/6. Here's our 1 that we borrow. Okay, it becomes 6/6 plus 1/6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, your 1 becomes a fraction, and you use the denominator to determine what it is. Okay, 7 minus 2 is 5/6. 7 minus 4 is 3. Here, I don't have a fraction at all, so I have to make one. I have to borrow. This becomes 12. And now I make a fraction, and because we're working on tenths, it becomes 1, which is 10/10. Okay? There was no fraction there, so it becomes 10/10 because we borrowed 1. 10 minus 8 is 2/10, and then 12 minus 8 is 4. Okay, when you borrow, you have to make a fraction equal to 1. So here, if we had to borrow, 1 would be 4/4. 1 would be 10/10. 8/8. 6 over 6 like I did there, 10 over 10 here. You have to, when you borrow, you make it whatever the fraction is. 8 over 8, 10 over 10, okay? And if you have some, you have to add it on. It's a little confusing, but that doesn't come till the end. If you get to 80, I'll be happy with that, okay? So now you go to IXL Math P19. Today is our last day of fractions for a while, okay? So do that and have a great day.